This shit so cold should be illegal. Need round two, I need a sequel. Hit the backwood like a freak though. You next level, you a chico. In so deep, you hit my seat plug. Got me singing like a...
Hey guys, welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you are a returning subscriber or watcher, viewer even. My name is Marley, if you didn't already know, and I post all types of different videos. My main types of videos are routines, routines like nighttime routines, morning routines, makeup videos and story times. So today is going to be a bit of a story time, I suppose, and it is going to be about when I was religious and why I am no longer religious. So this video is not meant to offend anyone. We all have our own views and I completely understand that and respect that. This is just my personal opinion and my personal experience with being part of the Christian faith. So yes, let's just get in. So I wasn't brought up full-on Christian. I was brought up sort of to believe in God and like know that God is there and like Jesus and stuff is gonna protect you. I had a little Bible, a kid's Bible when I was younger, and we would always, like, me and my mum would say a prayer at night, like, please can I sleep well, and like have a good night's sleep and everything. And so when I got older, we still didn't really, like, we wouldn't go to church a lot. We used to go to church when I was younger, basically, with my mum, my dad, and my brother. But I think we stopped going because my brother was really young at the time, and he, like, it was a lot to like bring like a 2-year-old, 3-year-old to church because he would like be running around and everything. You know what kids are like. So we stopped going to church. My dad doesn't believe in, I don't think he believes in anything. So I suppose we just stopped kind of like doing anything to do with like religion, I suppose. We'd still like do our prayers, like pray occasionally and stuff, but it was nothing like major. So when we got to about, I must have been 14, yeah, 14 I'd say, we lived in this like town, and my mum one day, I think she just said like, oh, like I found out that there's like this really nice church down the road, like should we go? So we were up for it. Obviously I was a bit nervous because I hadn't been to church for like so long, and that's understandable. You don't really know what to expect, but I did like have obviously a general gist of like what church was about and like what types of things we would be doing there. So yeah, we went to this church and everyone was so welcoming and so friendly and lovely, and it was a really upbeat church. People would, like, they had a guitar, they had drums, and it was quite modern. There was a lot of younger people. Like, when I say younger, I mean like early 20s. There was a few older people, like, but it was mainly younger people, and everyone was really welcoming and really friendly. I remember the first time that we went there, I think it was, like, people came up to us and like, welcome to our church, like, what's your name, like, how are you, where do you live, and stuff like that. So yeah, it was really great. And after a little while of me like being in the general like main adult church like sermon, which if you aren't familiar with like what usually happens in like a church, like obviously all churches are different because there's different like branches of like Christianity, but in the church that I was in, I think it was, don't quote me on this, it was either was it Methodist or evangelical? I think it was evangelical. And I'm generally not sure what the differences are, but I know that there are like differences. So what happens usually in church is you arrive and everyone like talks for like 10, 15, sometimes 20 minutes while the band sets up, or you know, they get ready for the actual like service. So you sit around and chat and stuff. Sometimes they have like tea and coffee for when you come in. So yeah, so we came in, and then what usually happens then is you have the pastor he is like the main, like, not leader of the church, but kind of, I don't know what you would call it, but like he's the main speaker and like organizer of like events and stuff. So you have the pastor who will like do an introduction, and sometimes before the pastor does an introduction, like they'll sing a song, like a worship song, and then sometimes after you do the introduction, and then the preacher says like, welcome to our church, whatever, there'll be some more songs. You'll do like 2 or 3 songs, and then after that you actually get to the actual service. And then during the service, usually it'll be the pastor who will like sometimes focus on a passage of the Bible or focus on a certain person in the Bible, and they will like speak about them and like how it can relate to us. Sometimes they'll do stuff on like jealousy, like adultery, being a good person, just stuff like that really. And sometimes it won't be only the pastor who will speak. They will have somebody else from even the church, what's it called? Like people in the church, somebody will come up and speak, or they'll have like a guest speaker, and they'll just like usually speak about their own experiences, or they'll just like do the same as the pastor, like read a passage and like explain what it means and like analyzes it, and you usually will follow along with like everyone in the like the audience. I don't know what to call it, but like the audience, I suppose you would call it. Usually they have Bibles under the seat, so you'll get the Bible up and you will like read from the Bible and follow along with what they're saying. Some people have their own Bibles and they'll like write notes next to it and stuff, like, you know, kind of like a lecture, but like a religious lecture, if that makes sense. So yeah, that I used to sit in like the main adult bit, and then I realised that there was like a Sunday school. There was a Sunday school, but it wasn't like the typical like kids Sunday school. So I think there was like two different groups. There was one group for the younger children, like 4 to like 10 or something, and then there was one for like the older kids, like 11 to like 16, like something like that. So obviously I went to the 11 to 16 one, and you'd basically just like do a little bit of the Bible, and it was really chilled at this church. So it wouldn't just be like speaking about the Bible, like you would also just have like general conversation. Like the youth leader, like he's lovely, and I still know him to this day, and his wife is lovely as well. Usually like he would just ask us about our lives, like how's school, like, and then we'll do a bit of Bible practice. Like it was really, really chilled. And in the bottom of this church they had like a skate ramp, which is so cool, because they would use that for like the youth group and stuff. So yeah, I started going to the Sunday school, and there was actually a girl from my school at the time who also was there. So I would like sit with her in the youth group and stuff, and we would like talk and, you know, just chat about the like what we were learning, and also like just our general lives. So yeah, that was for a while, and then I can't remember when we stopped going, but I believe it was my granddad who is passed away. He passed away like 3 years ago now? 2 or 3 years ago, I think it was. He was like, hey, like I'm going to this cool church. Like he had started going to this new church because he had recently like refound his faith, and he was like testing out new churches, because usually what you do is like you'll test out loads of different churches to see which one like is your vibe, or like which one you feel most comfortable at, or like some churches will focus on different things, so you want to like decide which one you want to go to because of what you want to focus on, if that makes sense. That probably did not make any sense, but I hope you get the gist of it again. So he was like, yeah, I found this new church, like it's amazing. So my mum was like, you know what, let's try out that new church. So we go to this new church, and it was really cool. They had like tea, coffee and biscuits when you came in. They had like people at the door to greet you. Like usually in these churches they'll have like people at the door to greet you and like, hi, how are you? And if you're new, like they'll like welcome you in and stuff. So they had tea, coffee, biscuits. Everyone was really friendly. Again, you would sit for a little while and have a little chat, and then the same kind of process would happen as in the other church. And I really enjoyed this church actually. Everyone was really, really nice. So I suppose you're wondering, well, if it was so great, why did you stop? Like, why did you stop becoming a Christian? Because there's like so many good things to being a Christian. But for me personally, when people would say like, oh, like, can you feel God around you, and like God is there, like I never felt anything. Like I didn't, like I would pray so hard, but I just never felt anything, if that makes sense. And so I guess I was just kind of like, I would go and like I enjoyed being at church, but like I suppose my heart wasn't really there because I didn't feel anything. Like when I was speaking to God, I didn't feel anything. But I think maybe the main reason that I liked being a Christian was that the kind of family surrounding it, the family aspect, and also the fact that I had like a protection, or like what I felt like was a protection around me all the time. Like I had like God like looking after me, and like, you know what I mean? So yeah, so after a while, I remember my granddad got ill. He passed away from cancer, and he got ill really quickly. Well, not got ill, but like we found out he was ill really quickly, and like he passed away within a few months. So after like he got really ill, I was really like when I'd go to church, I was like, and they would preach about like being grateful and like God loves us. I was like thinking in my head like, hang on a minute, God does not love us, because if he loved us, then why is my granddad like literally lying in a bed like about to die? You know what I mean? Like, sorry to like be so, you know, but like that's kind of how it felt. So I was like, why is, you know. And I remember going to church, and like I'd never had this before. Like I went to church, and I felt like really, really angry, and like they'd be singing the songs, and I was like, I don't want to sing the song, like I don't want to sing it. So I just sit there and like, I don't know, it kind of all like it all came to me, I suppose. Like I was like, this isn't for me. Like I don't think I believe in this, or like even if I believe in God, I don't want to like be part of this right now. Not because I didn't like the people, not because I don't like the religion, nothing about that. Just I didn't feel like it was doing me any good. So I said to my mum, I was like, I don't want to go to church anymore. And like she wasn't happy. She was like, yes you are. And I was like, no I'm not. I can make my own decision. I don't want to go to church anymore. So like eventually, I mean, she couldn't drag me to church, so she was like, okay, but she still made my brother go, and I think they got to a point where he like didn't want to go anymore, and like the same happened, like she wasn't happy, but I think eventually he like didn't have to go anymore. So yeah, and then I started like realising a lot of things. Like I would speak to people at church, like I remember I spoke to this one girl at my old church, and like I was like, what about reincarnation and stuff? Like how does that work? Like that seems really realistic, and people have had like experiences with it, like because obviously Christians generally tend to believe in like heaven and hell. And so she was like, oh yeah, like reincarnation's just like put there as like the devil like trying to tempt you and stuff. And like I don't know, that just didn't sit well with me. I thought like, I don't know, I just didn't really get that. And I started questioning things, and I was like, you know what, like I don't think I want to be like stuck to a religion, like, because I was also getting this like, so if you've watched my other videos, you know that I like have OCD, and like one of my compulsions was like praying. So like I had to pray, and if I didn't, then I thought something wrong, like something bad was gonna happen, like, and also I had like a routine of praying, so like I had to say like the exact same thing in the prayer every night, otherwise I wouldn't be happy with myself, if that makes sense. And like maybe that was because of my mental illness, like was also there, but like a lot of things, like I don't know, I just felt like this fear like all the time, like, oh, if I don't do this then I'm gonna go to hell. Like it was this constant fear of like going to hell, and I still do worry about that now, because like I was brought up in a religious environment, and like I still think now like, oh, if I'm not a Christian then like I still might go to hell. So yeah, and also another thing, like I don't know whether this is like all, I'm sure like not every Christian believes this, but like my nan would tell me like with my mental health issues, she would be like, oh yeah, like it's like the devil and stuff, like, and it's like it's the devil and you just need to pray and like ask for it to go, which obviously it isn't. So, but I'm not having a go at her. Like, obviously she didn't really understand like mental illness, because I don't think she's ever like experienced it much. So like I can't like blame her for that. But like that did obviously upset me. Like, well, why? Like I'm having a mental illness. Like this is not anything to do with like the devil. So yeah, it was all of these things that were just like thrown into me. And also I was just very like, I don't know, I became that person that I don't like now. Like the person who will try and like preach to you and like convince you that God's real. Like I wouldn't be so pressurizing, but like I would say to my friend, like I had a friend at the time and she was like questioning like what she believed in, and I was like, yeah, but like God is here and like you should just pray, and like I don't know, it was just becoming a lot, like, and like also my views and stuff, like now I kind of realised the bigger picture, like if that makes sense. I was like, you know what, this isn't for me. Like I don't think I want to be part of this. Like I don't have anything against anyone of like a religion or like Christianity at all. Like completely understand religion, completely understand why like you're part of it and stuff, but like for me it just wasn't working. So yeah, that's pretty much the story as to how I was religious and why I am no longer religious. I now believe in spirits, and I believe in like guardian angels and stuff, and I believe in reincarnation, and I believe in karma, but I do not believe in God. I just don't believe in a God. But that's my own opinion, and I'm not saying that that's the truth. I'm just saying that that's my opinion. I don't like feel like it could be possible, but I completely understand if you do believe in God, and that's totally fine. But I'm just saying my personal opinion is that. And I suppose a lot of people who like aren't religious used to say to me, well, why are innocent children dying if God's real? Like, why isn't God saving them? And like I used to ask my mum and stuff, I was like, what do I say to this? And she was like, just say I don't know, like everything happens for a reason. But that doesn't like, what is the reason for like children, you know what I mean? Like I kind of felt like, what was the reason for people to like innocently like die and stuff? Like, so sorry if it's getting a bit deep here, but I'm just trying to like bring you along through my thought process. So yeah, that was basically what I thought. And obviously I don't think that my family were like particularly pleased that I don't believe in God, or like that I didn't want to go to church anymore, but obviously that's my own belief, and I'm my own person, so I can decide what I believe in and what I practice. And I personally wouldn't bring my children up to be religious. I'm saying that because I'm not religious, but I suppose if you are religious and you've been brought up religious, and like everyone's been brought up religious around you, like you're gonna raise your children religious. So like I don't have a problem with that, but personally I'm not gonna raise my children religious. I'm gonna like let them decide what they want to like believe in. Like if they want to believe in anything, they don't have to. And I will give them information if they want on different like religions and different like beliefs, and let them make their own choice, because I know that like I went through a lot of turmoil with like religion growing up, so I don't want like my children to like experience that same turmoil. So yeah, that is my story. That is my story. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up, and leave a comment down below if you want to see more of these story times or like videos or whatever. And yeah, I'll see you in my next
It's just so good to be illegal. Need round two, I need a sequel.